So speaking of glamorous lifestyles, like working in PR, when I was a little bit younger, I worked in the New York City film industry, and I worked on a lot of art house films. I would say perhaps you've seen them, but you haven't. And a lot of art house movies, just like I went to NYU Film School, and there's this running theme, right? When you're a film student and when you work in the movie industry, especially in art house movies, there's a lot of like shock. Like film students and art house directors think like, we'll just throw Jesus and a penis in the scene and it'll be art. It's genius. And so I ended up working in a lot of really weird settings. There was a lot of stuff to really freak a person out. For example, we spent a lot of time in sex clubs during the day because people aren't using them. And there was this one place where we were filming that the walls were made of shag carpet, and so I just sort of stood as far away from everything because I didn't know what was in those carpets. And then there was another, we filmed in an S&M club. I don't know if it's called a club, but, and they had like all sorts of, and this wasn't set dressing, like there was just all sorts of devices hanging on the wall that they used. And apparently it's completely legal because they don't actually have sex with people. They just whip them and such. So, you know, there was a lot of interesting location shoots that we did. And there was a lot of creepy things that we had to deal with, like shag carpet. Or for example, one of the jobs I had was as a production assistant, and I had to stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and tell people that they couldn't walk that way. Which, if you've ever tried to tell a New Yorker, go somewhere else, it's very frightening. But the scariest shoot was this movie that had Danny Aiello in it, and it was called If 6 Were 9, and I don't think it ever came out like most of the movies I worked on. And we shot, at some point, we shot in an abandoned wing of a hospital. So it was literally like, it was like this old, scary, like 1960s filthy hospital with like dripping water from like burst pipes and stuff. And like we spent the whole 2 weeks on location in there. And so anytime you'd have to walk from like one part of the building to another, you'd be like, okay, I'm on my way. I'm coming now, everyone, I'm coming to set. So just so you know, I'm gonna be there in a minute. And you kind of had to prepare people. Well, one day we actually shot it was a detective movie, and we shot a morgue scene in the actual morgue. And we had, you know, actors playing dead bodies, which is, I'm sure, a lot of fun for them. And I was the key production assistant, so I spent a lot of time on set, but I was also constantly running all over and trying to organize things. And that day happened to be my birthday. Yay! So at one point the director, who was, I can't remember his name, but he was Danny Aiello's cousin or nephew, as you know, would happen, and he called me to set on my walkie-talkie, and I said, okay, I'll be right there, you know, and I started walking through the spooky hallways, and I walked into the morgue, and all of the dead bodies sat up and sang happy birthday. And that was one of my best birthday parties ever.